Okay, this is a movie review. It's Exhibiting Forgiveness, released in 2024. Let me just paraphrase a little bit. Visual artist Titus Kaphar has transitioned his creative mind to the screen as the writer-director of his first feature, Exhibiting Forgiveness. His body of work is defined by experimental form, with paintings hanging off other works, bunched up on top of them, on having pieces of their canvas slashed out. These layouts and omissions are always meant to enhance elements of black identity, whether through universality or subversion. Utilising his own paintings as the backbone of the film, Exhibition Forgiveness aims to accomplish the same, analysing generational trauma and the links between fathers and sons. To be specific, Tarrell, played by André Holland, is a painter. Having just concluded a successful show, his agent prompts him to ride the coattails of his current hype and host another. His work is time consuming, and with a young son, Jermaine, played by Barriere, and supporting wife Aisha, played by Andra. Oh, that name rings a bell, because I've just looked at her album released last year, who has put her musical endeavours on the back burner to give him the space to work. Tarrell is hesitant to dive back in, not only do the hours of painting and prepping for a show takeaway, Aisha's space to accompany his goals even more so. They limit the time he's able to dedicate to his son, and being a father is incredibly important to him. Then his estranged father, Laron, played by Earl Jelks, unexpectedly comes to visit him at his mother's, Joyce's house. Tarrell is forced to confront feelings he'd rather leave in the past. Joyce, a highly religious woman, that's his mother, hopes that Tarrell and Laron can reconcile their checkered past, marred by Laron's abuse and addiction. But even though Laron has found God and pleads to show his son that he has changed, the demons of Tarrell's adolescence memories that both wake him in the night as well as motivate him as a father threaten his ability to forgive. Okay, so I think we've got a fairly clear picture of what this movie will entail. I could read the rest of it, but we might come back to that. After a narrative, we meet the father, Laron. He appears to be living in a squat, or certainly a slum. There's a lot of incidents happening. He is cleaning a car, and it appears that he may have been asked to move out, and then he goes back to the slum, and there's a confrontation entailed between a guy who's almost having a meltdown emotionally, and there's an attack made by another man on the vulnerable one, and Laron responds to take that attacker out, showing his sort of empathy with the man who's clearly mentally ill. And he looks around outside, and there's another fight going on, and clearly where he's living is full of mentally ill folk who aren't handling life's daily struggles. We then move to the son, Tarrell, who's the painter, and he's having a nightmare. And I suggest that these are linked together to suggest that the breakdown of his family has left a mark, a serious mark, psychologically, and is still being seen years forward by the impact it's having on his sleep by having nightmares. In the nightmares we get, through the benefit of it being a movie, some of the images from his past, which are, we assume to be part of the dream.
I can't do this shit anymore.
It's okay, Aisha, it's okay.
Dad, can I get some pancakes?
No, baby, Daddy doesn't feel good right now.
Hey, come on, I got you. You want some blueberries and pancakes?
Just pancakes. I love pancakes.
Smells good. All of that, please.
Yeah, chocolate chips, chocolate chips.
Jermaine, 2 days to mission.
What, Mommy can't know? What mission?
Scratching mission.
There's the scratch mission?
Personally, go save Grandma and bring her home to safety.
That mission.
And why do we accept this mission, Jermaine?
Because sons take care of mother.
Do they? Where did you learn that from?
I don't know.
Earl, did you let him watch The Godfather?
No, that ain't even a real line.
That's on my nerves.
Hey. Hey. What's going on? What are you doing here? We don't have a business schedule.
I know. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Listen, I was excited. I wanted to see you face to face.
Yeah.
Can I come in?
I'm working right now. Janine,
It's okay.
So
I won't be long. Did you read the review?
Yeah. I read it, and it's a review.
When the review is positive, even if it's not quite right, we have to celebrate. Come on, critics pick. I come bearing gifts.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
What the fuck? T? What? Holy shit.
Hey, that's not ready, Janine. It's not ready yet, okay?
So this is why I haven't heard from you. Oh my God. T. Oh my God.
Janine, please.
Wait, can I see it?
No,
Can I see it?
nope, not yet. Come on, have a seat. Have a seat.
Hold on. Just give me this. Oh my God. The emotion on his face. He's so frightened, so vulnerable. I'll take 3 of these, please. Oh my God. 2. No, but seriously, this is finished. This is done. Not another brush stroke. Wow. I think you gotta do another show. The art world wants you, T. What can I say?
The art world.
Oh, come on, you.
Ronnie, we see him staggering out of his where he lives. He's suffering from a abdominal injury, probably as a result of a fight. And later, he seems to be in the neighbourhood of his son. Certainly a neighbour he's familiar with. We get to meet a few more of the characters within this family. The fact that Ron is back in the neighbourhood, staying at his brother's place, although his brother's wife doesn't want him there. And then we see the fact that, not quite sure whether they're moving house, but there's activity. And Aaron, is it Aaron? He's feeling the heat a little bit. But what I found particularly attractive about the movie is the presence of the woman, Andrea Day, who is a musician in this. And we get her sort of almost training or practicing her singing styles, and she's got such a great voice, using it for sort of another terrific scene as Tarrell's mother sort of is aware of her ex-husband being around and has been taken in by the news that he's clean of junk and he's now a churchgoer and wants to try and get him back into the fold with his son, and it's like torch paper. His son, almost to the extreme, doesn't want him within 10 feet of his son, even though we hear the cries of the grandfather, grandson, blah blah blah. Wouldn't it be great for them to meet? And it shows you how families, they don't necessarily heal. In fact, they could get worse. Absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder. Absence can make you more emphatic that you did the right thing. fatigue's starting to set in now. How am I going to tackle this fatigue? I haven't really had a sleep. Where have I? I don't know. If I go to sleep, I go to sleep. I don't want to deliberately stop myself from going to sleep. It might make it worse. So this unexpected visit by Ron to Tarrell's mother's house, Joyce, throws the whole situation to chaos, really, emotionally, for Tarrell. He's forced to confront feelings he'd rather leave in the past, but his mother, is a boldly religious woman, believes her husband, not quite sure it was an ex-husband, who claims that he's found God and is now a changed man. However, this is insufficient for his Tarrell. He's still dealing with the demons of adolescence, those memories mentioned earlier through dream, and the fact that he wants to really throw all his energies into being a good father to his own son, moving forward rather than going backwards to try and rescue after that damage. Let's move on. A review that I read about this movie pointed out the cinematography, and I, as a result of being more acutely aware of it, one of the problems of watching movies is that you can become sort of complacent and take these things for granted. But when you start looking at, what this person is doing as part of putting this project together and their contribution, it made me acutely aware of how natural the colours were on this, and how he uses the sort of depth of field in an exceptional way. I studied a little bit about this when I did some photography course many years back, all of which I've forgotten now. But yeah, it's worth looking at this because it's definitely creates a sort of a better viewing experience when it appears so natural. And sometimes cinematography on movies really can mess it all up, and even a great script can't rescue it. There's a wonderful scene between Laurent and Joyce after Laurent points out that he's getting nowhere trying to have a conversation with his son, and she explains the frequency that she gave Laurent another chance with regard to coming back together again. The numerous times that she gave him the opportunity to rebuild, rework, repair their relationship. And the message she's giving is that if she'd only had one chance, he wouldn't be standing where he is. That message to him about his son, that he expected it all to happen straight away, just ain't gonna happen. But it's delivered in a, well, natural way. The scenes where he has a dream, one in particular is particularly harrowing, which frightens the child. He comes out of a dream, Tarrell, and he starts hitting the wall in the room, and the son doesn't know what to do and becomes quite frightened. There's a lengthy scene where Ron tells his son, or answers his son's question about when did he start using. It's a tale of crack cocaine. It's lengthy. Some of the dialogue's quite difficult because of the localised accent and the African American style. So you need, if you want to get a detailed experience about Ron's story, you need to listen carefully. Even me, I sort of lost the thread after a few minutes. We hear in his monologue about how he was impacted by his own father, how religion and morality and sex outside marriage was received, and how this imposed restrictions that were overbearing on him, on Ron. Ron describes an incident where his grandfather, Ron's grandfather, pointed a gun at his grandmother, which brought about Ron dropping Tarrell's when he was a baby and tried to separate them, and the incident must have been extremely frightening. And this description points to possibly the cause of those dreams, or some of those dreams, that Ravel is experiencing.
Yeah.
This record of history, described by Laurent, soon leads to an eruption as Laurent tries to justify the behaviour that he repeated as a flaw, and Tarrell just doesn't see it as a flaw. He sees it a line that's crossed, a line that crosses a person from being good to bad, and this prompts him to leave and say, this is supposed to be a changed man, but he's justifying that sort of behaviour. It's a response that I remember hearing when I was being a social worker. not exactly right, because awareness can be an acknowledgement of some change. Understanding can. So where do we draw that line? We get a flashback to when Tarrell's a young boy and he's helping his father garbage from people's houses to the garbage dump, and there's an accident at the dump, and it sort of sums up his father, his degree of care for his son. A great scene for all your religious believers out there, between Tarrell and his mother, about forgiveness, and it leads to a conflict over the message of the Bible. And Tarrell, of course, is well read on the Bible. He's had it rammed down his throat since he was a boy. His mother is a staunch believer, and then Tarrell grabs a few tasty extracts to reflect on how loving members within that story are to their close family, and retells the story of Abraham and Isaac, when Abraham the father slaughtered his son Isaac as a sacrifice to the God. Final frames at the gallery, where Tarrell's got a new set of portraits, paintings, images, the absence of mother, the attendance of father, and him trying to come to terms with the emotions that have been in and around him since his father returned to the scene. And it leads to, like many of these films, it doesn't lead to anything particularly significant in the final frames, but certainly ties up an effective paragraph to his life.